What's up, you guys? One second. I'm trying to type your name and everything in here. Lord. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Let me just do my housekeeping. Oh my goodness, this is driving me crazy. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Bay Hive. We're gonna get into all of the things. Give me a second. While I'm typing this in the chat, go ahead and drop where you are tuning in from. Go ahead and drop where you are tuning in from in the chat. That took way too long to type out. Jesus. Drop where you are tuning in from in the chat. We're going to get into all of the things. What's up, Janess? I was thinking about you today. We're going to get into all of the things in just a second. I'm going to call Tyrone into the space, into the place, into the space. We got St. Louis in the building. We got Connecticut in the building. We got Georgia in the building. If this is your first time going live with me, drop a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time going live with me, drop a 1 in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat. Charlotte, of course, North Carolina. Tyrone is in the building, so we're going to pull him in just a second. We got Florida, Atlanta. Jeanette's not telling y'all, but she's representing East St. Louis. We got Philly. Okay, drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time going live with me in the Bay Hive. So my name is Gabby, and I am the Real Estate Bay, and I own the Real Estate Bay Agency, and we help new and first-time investors find and fund profitable real estate in the St. Louis market. So that is what I own, the agency I own, and what we do. So my name is, like I said, Gabby. And we got a lot of newbies. We've been getting a lot of new people in the Bay Hive. I'm excited for you guys. So my agency helps new investors find profitable real estate. And so every time we have a really great experience with our clients, I like for them to come on and share their story and to normalize people using a system that they didn't necessarily come up with. How do we hire people, get out of their way, and trust the process? And so Tyrone is a sentiment of that very thing. He joined us from Charlotte, North Carolina. He had orientation about, 5 weeks ago. He had his first orientation with us, and he is currently closing on his investment property with us here in the St. Louis market. So Tyrone, if you could go ahead and request again to go live, I'll be able to add you. Let me ask you guys this. Is it echoing to y'all? Can y'all hear me okay? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. There he is. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. What's up? No echo. Okay.
How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Okay, you guys can hear me. She said it sounds like it's a fan in the back. It's a fan right here. It's hot as hell in this house. I'm on the 3rd floor. Don't even ask me why we have so many floors. Super hot upstairs. What's up, Tyrone? Welcome to the Bay Hive. What is this? Live for the first time, live and in the flesh. It's just a fan sound. Let me turn my fan down. They hate me. Okay. That is as low as it's going to be. Okay, perfect. Tuning in from Charlotte. So I already gave you a brief introduction, but if you could and will you please introduce yourself to the people, and then go ahead and add your investing journey before you came to our agency.
Okay, that's a good story. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining and tuning in tonight. I'm Tyrone Davis out of Charlotte, North Carolina. My investment journey started in 2015, but well before that, I had interest in, real estate, but I didn't grow up with a background with parents who knew real estate. I didn't grow up with friends and family members or mentors who knew about real estate. So I kind of stumbled into it. And everybody wants wealth, right? Everybody wants to acquire land and property. So I was trying to figure this thing out. But in 2015, my wife was pregnant with our first baby, our first son. And we had to get out of and get our own space. And so we bought our first property, which was our primary property. That led to me exploring and figuring out how we can leverage our equity in the home, our first investment property. So we bought a condo for $90,000. And I thought it would be a great playground. I wouldn't lose too much if something happened, but it gave me an opportunity to fix that property up and get a renter in there and get a property manager. And that just kept feeding my desire to want to do real estate. I think the problem with a lot of us is we are afraid to make that first step.
Yeah.
That was the first step. I felt like it was safe, but I wanted more after that. So we ended up selling our primary home, and that landed an opportunity for us to have more income to do more with real estate.
Sure.
Ended up flipping a property, and that was last year, believe it or not. And I had a really good business partner who did that, but I also work a 9 to 5, 2 kids, and I have a wife, so I have all these responsibilities, and flipping a property during that time was very difficult. But what I learned is having the right people in place, having the, your core four, your property management, your realtor, your lender, and having the contractors in place. I knew the value of that.
Sure.
Search for that, and it was very difficult to find good people. So during that process, actually towards the end of flipping the property, I landed upon your video, and you had a similar story to my wife. She actually was laid off by her attorney, said she had pregnancy, so don't come back to work. So she ended up launching her own firm. So I resonated with that, and then just kept watching your videos. And I was like, you know what? Next year I'm going to do something different. We're in 2022, which is what I was aiming for. And I wanted to make sure that I continue to build my family's legacy with whatever resources I had by buying long-term investments. And so, but not just long-term investments, cash flowing properties that were in places where I could benefit. And lo and behold, here we go. I landed upon Real Estate Bay Agency. So
I love it. That was a perfect synopsis of your story. You said a bunch of things that I want to go back to. The first thing that you said I want to go back to was, let me see, what do I want to choose? The team part. Can you, so your story is interesting to me because you had already done a flip, which in my opinion, flipping real estate, I think is one of the most hardest strategies ever. I think out of all the strategies, wholesaling and flipping is by far the hardest, and
Yes.
People don't understand that. Can you walk us through some of the grunt work with building that team and then getting out to the other side and maybe a timeline as well? I'm curious.
For my contractors, I wanted to make sure I, interviewed at least 3 people for the things that I wanted to get done. So I had my primary contractor who would be working on the property. I had to go and just, really read about, I actually used Nextdoor to find my contractor by recommendations of other people. So I interviewed them, brought them out to the property, let them see the property. And then I got their price for the work that, we were asking them to have done. But with that, it was just, not just that one contractor. You had an HVAC contractor. You had, you had your plumber if you needed that, electric. You had all of these different elements, and there were a bunch of surprises along the way.
Yep.
That I think prepared me for this, to be very thankful, to just be able to go and find, a company that provides all of those things that, I was searching for at the time and found, but I realized the struggle during that time period. So there's many elements to flipping a property, and that anything that can go wrong, and you want to make sure you have a strong team in place for that.
Tyrone, do you think that you could have came into the agency with the calm sentiment and fully kind of trusting the process like you have if you had not been through this first experience with this flip?
You know what? I think the first experience with the flip helped me to trust you all a lot more.
Okay.
I think if I got there, I probably would have been in analysis paralysis for a very long time, because I am someone who would analyze something to the end, right? So I think because of the real estate thing put in along the way, it made it very easy.
Yeah.
You all, because I knew the value that was there, and I knew that the most expensive thing in life is a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I would have missed the timing of getting involved with the Real Estate Bay Agency. I knew that eventually it would cost me. You're going to be more expensive in a year, 2 years.
Oh.
Just delaying through that 2022 was the year I needed to get involved. So.
I love that. And you said you said opportunity, and I was thinking time.
Yeah.
Right. So which you kind of already hit on. Like time is. I think that I have another question that I wrote down while you were talking. I don't think people understand, unless they have already been in real estate for quite some time, the amount of time you win back by hiring us and having us do all of the grunt work. I don't think people realize, like, you don't have to do all those things. If you had to give us a range or a number, how many hours would you say it went into building that team, interviewing people, putting bids together, walking through the property? How much time do you think, in an hour's perspective, or months, that it took?
I can give you months for sure. You think of, man, and so keep in mind everything I said with family, work,
Right.
everything else that's going on in life. We're talking about 4 to 5 months of activity in terms of trying to flip a property, right? To get it from day one all the way to being sold to a buyer. Mm-hmm. Those 4 to 5 months are invaluable because it's time away from my family, it's time away from, work. Sometimes when I have to sneak out and do what I need to do, and just really, time is invaluable.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that out, because it's not just the opportunity; it's definitely the amount of time that you get back.
Yeah.
Hiring almost like a turnkey agency.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people are hesitant about making an investment. But what I learned in the flipping process is with my business partner, we split everything 50-50. That my investment was 50% of our profit. So my investment with Real Estate Bay was whatever that investment was, as a partner to get and go of, I got goals for 2022. I want 2 to 3 properties. Real Estate Bay Agency can help me get there.
Understood. That definitely makes sense. Again, something I just don't think people consider when they think about the time you win back and how quickly we move, and you still get us for 12 months. So a tenant does this, a tenant does that, you still get that to live out that retainer for 12 months. So you saw my video, the video that went, it's steady going viral at this point. I don't even know where it is. Where my boss, my CEO at the time, fired me. Everybody, let me just, for the 20 people or so that are on here, everybody always argues in the comments, it's thousands of comments, that the CEO would not know who I was. Let me just preference this because we're on this story. You guys, I worked at an agency, there was like 9 of us. Relax. Like, this CEO knew who I was. There was 9 of us, and my office was across a tiny hallway. This wasn't a big old firm with hundreds of people. This was 10 people or less. So you saw the video that went viral. So I know that kind of resonated with you. Did you have anything did you have any apprehensions or any questions that made you second guess taking our clarity call or moving to the next step?
So the clarity call was funny, right? Because I dressed up, I was suited and booted. I was like, yo, they gonna hire me. I know they're going to hire them. They're going to hire. So for me, I think, when I saw that first video, it was, all right, let me continue to watch. So that was a period of time where I watched videos. I wanted to understand your character. Social media is different. You can't really get to know someone fully, but you can get to know someone by what they're saying and what they're doing. I began to kind of watch what you were doing in the agency and some of the lives you were changing. And I did my own due diligence. And then I was like, all right, let me present something to my wife. And then got her on board. It was all go from there. So when I was on the clarity call, it was, all right, I'm gonna set myself up to be the one selected. It wasn't, me questioning you. It was, I knew I was, so.
I love that. That's exactly how he positioned himself. He was ready, like the irons were all in the fire. He was all in before he even signed contract agreements, because first of all, can I just preference, I'm going to speak for you and tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you have a really strong foundation in believing in yourself. I think sometimes, Tyrone, people come to me as a fairy godmother and they don't believe in self. And so I felt really strongly about you as a client, because I'm like, this person is not going to lose. This person is a winner, right? And so no matter, because winning or losing is about the eye. It's about our perspective on life and the deal or what's in front of us. So I felt like you had a really strong foundation in yourself. I felt a connection in terms of God as well, and just integrity. And so it was a no-brainer. I told John, I was like, we got you a guy. You're gonna love. He's like, you got a guy, because of the Bae name, we typically get 80% or more women. So we've changed our colors, and we're trying to go to the REB agency instead of saying Real Estate Bae. So doing some rebranding, but you had a really strong foundation in yourself, and I think that that's something that people don't. That's just something that we look for in a client. We get a lot of people that worry. We get a lot of people that overanalyze deals. And Tyrone, we get a lot of people that say, Gabby, I'm on a clarity call with you. Tell me the whole plan for 365 days. Right. I can't do that. Right. So you came on humble and as a student, and then we were able to get you in and kind of walk us through after the clarity call to your first week at the agency and what that was like.
Okay, well, I want to address what you just said, because I am, and faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things seen. So a lot of people, they create these visions and don't create an action plan, or don't. And a vision without any action is just a dream, right? So you got to put forth some work to bring some things to fruition. So you're spot on when you said. So my first week, February 5th, I think, around that time, I actually, got to know Brandy. She did the introduction, and I was ready to go. So the first week was more of a, here's an overview of the Real Estate Bae Agency. This is what we do. With turnkey agency. It could take up to 90 days to get your property. Any questions. So any questions that I had, she was able to answer. Any thoughts that I had around the agency, she addressed those things. I didn't have many because I already knew what I wanted to do, and I was just ready to go day one. So I think for any that is, signing up with the agency, you are there, just be ready to go. And you always say, trust the process, right? Trust the process, go through the process, and get that first property, if this is your first property. And then there, just keep going, don't stop. Because in our community, real estate is something that is often foreign. We don't talk about it. And I mentioned in my household, we didn't talk about it. Yep. So I think that once you dabble in real estate, whatever it may be, because it's such a big, area and space to be. Sure. Once you dabble in it, don't stop. Just keep going, and don't be afraid and take that action step forward. No, I love that. Something came up as you were talking. I'm wondering,
I know certain clients won't tell certain family members if they, met a girl on Instagram. And have you guys kind of kept your plans, to yourselves, or have you been sharing with family? And was anybody like, that's awesome, or that's scary? How was the culture around that?
You know what? I think when they saw me do the flip, well, my first rental, and then they saw me flip, I think that's when people were like, hey, you do some things in real estate, right? So they don't understand what I'm doing in real estate. But I'm trying to really create a pathway of legacy building for my family. I want to be able to sit at my dinner table and say, son, how many properties did you buy today? Or daughter, how many properties are you looking at today? I want them to understand real estate and the value behind that so that, they can leave legacies as well. So, I think it's just a hard discussion for some folks because it seems far-fetched. But they realize what I've been through, where I come from, and I look just like them. Oh, maybe it is possible. And then they start to ask questions. So in this effort, long distance investing, I have been talking about, some of the things that I'm doing to family and friends, but to encourage them that it's possible for them to do it as well. Find a market that works where you can purchase at your price range. At least get your feet wet. You don't have, I realized when I had my rental property here in Charlotte, I never went to the property. Only when the renter moved out. And literally I lived 5 minutes away from my first rental property and never went there. So that told me that I could do this long distance thing. Put in place a property manager to look after the property, the right people to get me there to that first property, I'm all good. So I've been talking about it slowly but surely, but just, getting this first property is key for me.
Got you. Another thing I wanted to address really quickly with you, Tyrone, is the mindset. Were you always like this, kind of tenacious and grounded and really clear on vision? Or have you ever done any mindset work or and kind of praying off any doubts? What was your process like for your own self in terms of preparing to build wealth?
That was a period in time where I went through a lot. I lost literally everything I had, taking a risk on business with a business partner who turned out not to be so great. But that moment, that period of time taught me that I could bounce back from anything. God replenished all that I lost and more, giving me strategy, a lot of wisdom in that process. I'm not afraid to step out, take risks. And really, my goal is to really be able to, again, lead that way where my son, my daughter can look at me and say, Daddy, you've done a good thing. But also help a lot of other people get there. People who don't believe that they could take that first step, take a risk, calculated risk, but take a that would help them to create a legacy for their family. So for me, mindset has been a developmental thing throughout my life. But the period of time that I went through all of that and coming out of that, that was about 10, 12 years ago. I've been really developing ever since, reading lots of books, working on my mindset, staying positive, staying focused, and walking in faith. That's probably the best way I could put it. My faith has given me the ability to continue to move forward.
I love that. I feel that the word I keep using is just really grounded, anchored. And it's really unique. We talk about you in the agency often, and to be quite honest, when I looked at your business plan, so you guys, when you join the agency, you're going to do a quick template business plan. It's just because we have quite a few clients and we want to be able to look and say who is where and who can do what and what are people's capital versus capacity and so forth. And your business plan was exactly, when I built the template, it was exactly what I was looking for. I didn't have to guess. I didn't have to. So to be honest with you, you got the first call out of your cohort of investors just off of clarity. And so it wasn't like, I'm going to get a property, but if I can't do that, then I'm going to do that. And maybe that's, to be honest, that's how some of them come in when they're finished with them, and we have to kind of refine them. And yours was so refined and very clear. And so I just attest that to like anchored and grounded and God and everything, and really knowing who you are and where you want to go. So we're in the agency. We had orientation. Remind me, how did you get an email with the property we found, or did I call you? Tell me about. I called you.
Yep. And
oh no, we lost it at first.
So you called and we said, you gave me 2 options for property.
Yep.
I was like, okay, I want to go with this property. There's a renter in place, 100% Section 8. And all the, 61, I think it was 55K for the property.
Huh?
So it fit kind of my plan. And so we went forth and put in the offer.
Yep.
And they were just stalling for a period of time. Like, okay, they're playing games. So I was like, wow, let's pull out. We're not afraid. I mean, there's other options out there. Let's just, we can wait. So I think also having patience in this process, not being anxious just because you feel like you're going to lose a property. Around the world right now, there are people competing for properties, but you have the ability to find a property and position yourself well enough to win the offer. So and I knew that this wouldn't be the last opportunity. So we just, we initially said, let's just pull out.
Yep.
But we ended up having the highest offer, and they came back
to us. Yep.
And they were like, you know what? We want to go with you all. Let's sign papers. So I was signing papers at Disney World on my birthday, and I
oh my God! I don't think I realized that. Okay, that's the bomb.
Yeah.
So wait, let me even tell you, when you said we were texting or calling, and I said, listen, they're asking for it. It was like a second or third extension on like a full price offer, everything in place. It's just like a no-brainer because they were trying to stall and get more offers in and so forth. So I called the realtor, who I know, and I said, listen, Dion, we're done playing games. We gave you guys another week or a few days of extension. It's a full price offer. It's over asking. I don't remember what we wrote. I said, he's done. He's just, we're aggravated. And she was like, hold on for a second. Please don't. I said, I'm sorry. If you can't get to something to me today, we're done. And so I told her we were pulling out, verbally, but we didn't, I was like, let me use this for a little bit more bait. And so that we could flip. I don't like to not be in control of your asset and in the direction. So we were able to flip the tables and we became in control, and it completely changed the dynamic of the transaction. So they were stumbling and, hey, did you get the documents? Can you make sure you got it? Late at night, texting and emailing. And so she, in the process, I'm not asking people to bow to us, but when there's respect and humility on both sides, it's a cleaner process. So we tried to pull out of the deal. We verbally pulled out. I said, we're done. She got back to me in no time, got the house under contract. And your tenant, I don't have your numbers. I guess I can look in here. Your tenant pays $950. What is it?
$850.
$850. Everything in place, 100% Section 8. We forgot to talk about the lending process too. You leaned on our preferred lender, so you built a relationship here with Chris.
Right.
How was that process?
So another value of going with Real Estate Bay Agency, all of you have access to, from insurance, lenders, and all of that. So Chris is just fantastic. He looked at everything. He was really quick, very fast. He responded. He texted me, just checking in, making sure that I'm finding a property that I'm looking for. He's saying that he's here for me and those types of things. So very personable.
Yeah, yes.
Very personal person, and he cares about your goals and getting you there. So Chris has been fantastic. And my mindset coming into this whole entire process was, I want to maximize the number of properties that I can get with the cash liquid that I have.
Yeah.
Having the amount of cash liquid, I wanted to use that for, leverage a lender to be able to get at least 2 to 3 properties, right? So that's why I went that direction. But it's, I'm happy with, the lending and what they're going to be providing for me. We're closing very soon, so I'm excited.
We're going to be what is this? You close in 2 weeks? Yeah.
25th. Ah.
Yep. So about 2 weeks. So we got the lender from Real Estate Bay. You talked about the insurance. We have appraisers. We have the whole thing from start to finish is with the agency. Huh?
No, I said, and you have, partnerships, our property managers or different things like that I went outside of Real Estate Bay. So.
Yep, exactly. So the other thing I like about your story is because we're splitting the money in half, and I don't know if you're comfortable sharing, but we're taking the capital that he has, you guys, and we're dividing it in half. We're using 2 different halves for 2 different down payments, and our strategy is tenant in place, hopefully a long-term tenant in place, right, 12 months plus, and then I'm sure you're going to be saving up your rental money. Have you thought, let's talk about that, because I get a little scared when people start asking about how much they're going to make, and it shouldn't be how much you're going to make. It's about, I'm hopeful when you guys say, how much am I going to make on this deal? It's more about how much am I going to gain so I can save for more deals. Can you talk about your process with when you do get your rental income and how you're going to divide that up and what you're going to do with that cash every month?
Yeah, so the bigger part of me is I really want to save as much as I can, right? Preparation to buy more property, but also, this property, there may be some rehab stuff that I need to do. If the tenant moves out, I definitely want to upgrade it to add some value to it, to be able to get a renter in and then eventually pour value out to buy more property.
Yep.
I think the strategy is make sure, first of all, that it's a property that's income producing, positive cash flowing, and then be able to, again, monthly build that bucket of money up for potential future property. I said I would pay myself 10%, but I don't think I'll do that initially. I really want to grow that amount of money.
Sure.
Then there are other things that I want to do. I actually want to do a flip locally this year if I pull it off, to generate more income to then go and buy more property. So my ultimate goal initially was I'm gonna buy 1 property a year for the next 10 years, right? Because my goal is to have at least $8,000 to $10,000 a month in cash flow. But when you can go to Real Estate Bay Agency and potentially buy properties that are, high in rent, easy entry points in terms of purchasing a property, and then have everything you are looking for, it makes sense to do it. So you're helping to accelerate my plan.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it. You guys, if you have any questions for Tyrone, please throw them in the question box. He'll probably be more than happy to answer. Again, we are live for you guys that are joining us. We started about 35 minutes ago, so 6:30 Central Time, so 35 minutes ago or so. Just walking through his process with the Real Estate Bay Agency. I thought he would be a cool client. I know he's going to be a cool client to highlight. We'll save this live because he came in with the right mindset. He came in with humility, and he came in with clarity. Again, some people come to us and they want us to figure out their plan, figure out their finances, and really work best, right? When you know where you want to go, we review your plan, and then we help you, like you said, accelerate. So we got the house. We're closing in 2 weeks on your first property here in St. Louis. Can you walk the people through how soon you're going to go after that next one, and what that process you think is going to look like for you?
Yeah, I think on the 25th, when I close officially, I may take 1 day, water, celebrate with my wife, and then apply for it. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time because I know what my goals are. So as soon as I can, go back through the process of getting the approval through Chris and team, and then searching for that next property as soon as possible. So that way I can get, closer to the next thing. So I don't think it's going to take long for me to recover from the first property. The process is smooth, the way you all kind of create it for the clients. So I think that makes it easy for me to say I'm ready for the next.
I love it. Perfect. That's exactly right. So when you have that strategy, especially that tenant in place, it's it really is the best strategy. If you have between, just to give you guys some perspective, if you have between 40 and 20,000 to deploy into the market, the tenant in place strategy is without question the best strategy for you here in the St. Louis market. So somebody said, do you only have to buy in St. Louis? Yes, our agency helps people purchase in the St. Louis market, you guys. The St. Louis market, I talked about it yesterday, I think it's an undervalued market. So just to give you guys some perspectives, everybody is saying like real estate is going up. I'm sure you hear that in North Carolina too, Tyrone. And so if real estate has gone up and it's here, St. Louis was already undervalued. What I mean is a house that costs $40,000 in St. Louis would cost $200,000 in Chicago or in Texas, or in, like, it doesn't even have to be a huge city. It's just an undervalued market. And sometimes I like to remind myself that this is the last slave state. And so there's a lot of racial trauma. I'm not from here, but I can feel a lot of racial trauma in St. Louis. And so the Black communities are even more marginalized than maybe if you went over to Ohio or to, you know, a different state. You could really feel it. So it allows us as Black investors to see value in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, fully finished property with a basement and say, I'll buy that no problem for $50K. Where somebody else would say, well, where is it located? And just, you know, prejudge. Anything else you want to share? Let me ask you this. If there are people on the live that are on the fence about joining, we got fear that often trumps our actions. What are some things that you would, you know, share or say to the people?
My favorite quote is by Mark Houlihan, and it's, if you want your life to be a magnificent story, start by realizing that you're the author of that story, and every day you have an opportunity to write a new page. So my question to you would be, what will your page say about you tomorrow? What are your page? What are you going to write today that's going to create the legacy for your family tomorrow? What you do today matters, and the decisions that you make today matter. So when you are delaying, and when you know that you are called to real estate, you got to family, there are generations depending on you in terms of that. And so when I think about that, and I think about, you know, the decisions that I make will affect generations to come. I want my grandkids, my great-grandkids talking about me and saying, you know what, that he was a pillar in this family. And because of that, we are wealthy. So, you know, if that's you, don't be afraid to step out and start writing your story. Today is an opportunity that you might have. So I just encourage you, if real estate is what you want to do, take that first step. I hope you take it with Real Estate Bae because they take care of you. But if not, make sure you take that step somewhere so that you put your foot in the game. I guarantee you'll come back because this is a great, just the whole process in general will leave you with a great experience in real estate. And not everybody has a great experience in real estate. So
that's right. I love that. Oftentimes I say, Tyrone, I tell my team, I want our impact to be so large in our clients' mouths to their family and their friends and their coworkers that when their grandparents, they're like, there was an agency called Real Estate Bae. And they're like, who is this? I want you guys to talk about me at grandma's table. That's how much of an impact I want in the trajectory of your legacy. You thought you could do 1, now we did 3. You thought you could do 3, we did 7, right? And so same thing with Marissa. We talked to her on a live a few weeks ago. She came to us wanting like 1 or 2. She has 10. It's because of the tenacity and creativity we have and how we position ourselves. And really, we know how to work this market. And so I think that without question, God is going to honor your intentions and you're going to do well more than 2. I don't know how that's going to happen this year, but I feel that in my spirit. I feel you're going to be, actually Brandy said it yesterday. She said Tyrone is going to be the breakout of this year. I said, okay. I was like, where did he? She was like, I just feel he's going to be the breakout investor of this year. Last year we had Marissa. We got to get a new champion over here. It's not about quantity. It's about the impact you guys make on us as well. And then how focused you stay and don't sway. It's a lot of things that for us makes you like a killer in the agency. So I'm excited for the trajectory and to work with you throughout the remaining of our time together. We're going to kill it for sure. Yeah, I'm super excited. Anything else you want to leave the people before we get off of here? I love this live.
No, this has been great, man. I appreciate you. It's an honor to be able to share this live with you because I know you're just going to blow up. And it's a matter of time. You're doing a great work in our community, but even beyond that, there are all types of people of different background, ethnicities, and that are coming to you looking for someone to be a voice for them in the community to get first property. So what you're doing is very important, and I appreciate what you're doing. And thank you so much for inviting me on this live.
You're very welcome. We just got let me tell you this real quick, and this is the honest truth. I'm not even just doing this for clout. We just got a deal at $35,000. The tenant is paying $750. Text me when we get off this live. I feel like that's something we can lock up real easy.
Yeah.
And like something small like that, and then another medium-sized one. I don't know if you want to stretch, but I feel like that's something that we could probably lock up. I want to send you John has the file already typed out. I just want to throw it over to you just to see. But with that 20%, it's almost nothing. So
right.
Something like that in the middle, and then let me know.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I will talk to you guys soon. Yes, I'm going to save this live. I think tomorrow we go live with my coach, who's going to be yelling and screaming at everyone. And then we go live with Asha from LA on Friday. So I will talk to you guys super soon. Thank you so much, Tyrone. I'll talk to you soon as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.